52 BC, a hill called Alesia, deep in Gaul. Inside its walls, Vercingetorix and 80,000 Gallic warriors, trapped like animals in a cage. Around that cage, Julius Caesar and 60,000 Roman soldiers, ready to starve them out. It should have been simple. Wait, watch, win. Then the ground shakes with new footsteps. 250,000 more Gauls are marching in from behind, coming to smash the Romans from the outside. Now Caesar's men are the ones trapped, squeezed between a fortress full of enemies in front and a massive army closing in from behind. You cannot fight two wars at once. Not like this. Not against these numbers. It should have been impossible. Caesar tries anyway. By the end of this video, you'll see how one man built a wall around an entire army, then turned around and built a second wall, facing the other way, to hold off a second army. 2 rings of wood and dirt, one trapped force squeezed in the middle, and somehow, a victory pulled out of a situation that should have ended in disaster. On one side stands Caesar, a general who has spent 8 hard years conquering Gaul, field after field, tribe after tribe. On the other side stands Vercingetorix, the chieftain who did something no one else could do. He pulled dozens of angry, divided tribes into one single army against Rome. The idea that decides everything is simple to say, but brutal to pull off. Trap the enemy inside, then build a second trap facing out. One army sandwiched in between 2 walls. Keep that picture in your mind. It's about to be tested to its absolute limit. To understand why this war happens, you need to go back further than the siege. You need to go back to the wound that never healed. For 8 long years, Roman soldiers have been marching across Gaul. Tribe after tribe has been beaten, taxed, and forced to bow. Roman officials take grain from Gallic farms. Roman soldiers take land that used to belong to Gallic families. Slowly, quietly, freedom is being stolen, piece by piece, harvest by harvest. At first, the tribes do nothing. They are too busy fighting each other to notice the bigger enemy standing over all of them. Old rivalries run deep. One tribe hates another tribe more than it fears Rome. That is exactly how Caesar has been able to conquer so much land so fast. Divide them, and they fall one by one. But something is changing. Anger that used to stay inside each tribe is now turning outward, toward Rome. Tribes that once refused to speak to each other are starting to whisper the same question. What if we stopped fighting each other and fought Rome instead? That is the political wound. But there is a second wound, and this one is personal. Years earlier, a Gallic leader tried to unite the tribes the same way. His name was Celtillus. He dreamed of pulling the tribes together under one banner, but his own people turned on him. They feared he wanted to become a king and rule over them all, so they killed him. His son grew up carrying that memory like a blade in his chest. That son is Vercingetorix. Now, years later, Vercingetorix stands in front of the very people who executed his father and asks them to follow him instead. It is a bold, almost unthinkable move. He is not just fighting Rome, he is finishing what his father started, and proving that his father's dream was never wrong. Every battle he fights now carries 2 purposes at once: freedom for Gaul and justice for his family's name. This is why the coming war is not simple. It is not just tribes against an empire. It is a son settling an old score, using the same tribes that once betrayed his father as his weapons against Rome. Political hunger for freedom, personal hunger for redemption. 2 fires, burning together, about to be pointed straight at Julius Caesar. And soon, those fires will lead thousands of warriors up onto one hill, a hill that will decide the future of Gaul. Before the fighting starts, look at the ground, because the ground is about to decide everything. Vercingetorix does not choose Alesia by accident. He picks it the way a chess player picks a square, because it is almost impossible to attack. The fortress sits on top of a high plateau, lifted above the land like a natural throne. On 2 sides, rivers wrap around the base like a moat carved by nature itself. On the other sides, steep slopes rise up, so steep that any army trying to climb them will be tired, slow, and exposed before they even reach the top. It is, on paper, a perfect place to hide. High ground, water on the flanks, a fortress wall on top of it all. If you are Vercingetorix, this looks like the safest place in Gaul, and he has more than good ground. He has numbers. 80,000 warriors are tucked inside those walls with him, and beyond the fortress, across the wider land of Gaul, tribes are gathering, ready to march to his rescue the moment he calls. His true strength is not just the hill, it is the promise of an entire nation rising behind him. But Caesar is not looking at this hill the way an ordinary attacker would. Caesar's true weapon is not just his soldiers, it is what his soldiers can build. Roman legions are not only trained to fight, they are trained to dig, to chop, to stack earth and timber faster than almost any army in the ancient world. Give them open ground and enough time, and they can turn empty fields into a controlled trap, ring by ring, log by log. This is the quiet threat hiding underneath the whole standoff. Vercingetorix sees a fortress that protects him. Caesar sees a construction site. While Vercingetorix trusts his walls and his waiting allies, Caesar is already picturing lines of trenches circling the base of that hill, cutting off every path in or out. Height will not matter if no food can reach the men on top of it. Rivers will not matter if Roman engineers can bridge or block them. So here is the shape of the coming fight, drawn out in the dirt. One side holds a fortress that looks unbeatable from the inside. The other side holds the patience and skill to surround it completely from the outside. A hill that cannot be climbed, an army that does not need to climb it. That is the trap now waiting to close. The trap is not closed yet, and Vercingetorix knows it. Before Caesar can finish surrounding the hill, there is still one small window open, one chance to strike before the noose gets tight. So Vercingetorix does not wait quietly inside his walls. He sends his cavalry out into the open ground near Alesia, hoping to catch the Romans off guard while they are still spread out and still vulnerable. For a moment, it looks like a real chance. Gallic horsemen thunder across the field, fast and confident, testing the Roman lines before the real siege can even begin. If they can break through here, if they can scatter Caesar's forces now, the whole plan of encirclement falls apart before it starts. But Caesar has spent 8 years learning how Gallic cavalry fights. He is ready. Roman horsemen, backed by tough Germanic allies riding at his side, meet the charge head-on. The clash is fast and violent, swords and hooves and shouting filling the open field, and slowly the Gallic charge breaks. Vercingetorix's cavalry is pushed back, beaten, forced to retreat. This single moment changes everything. Vercingetorix pulls his men back inside the walls of Alesia, choosing safety over another risky fight in the open. It seems like a smart move, a chance to regroup and wait for better odds. But it is actually the worst decision he could make, because the moment he retreats behind those walls, he hands Caesar exactly what he needs. Caesar does not hesitate. He does not wait for a truce. He does not wait for another skirmish to test the waters. The instant the Gallic cavalry pulls back, Roman engineers and soldiers start moving into position around the base of the hill. Trenches begin. Ramparts begin. The great encircling wall begins to take shape almost immediately. What was supposed to be a quick test of strength has become the spark that lights the entire siege. There is no going back now. Vercingetorix cannot simply walk his men back out onto open ground whenever he wants anymore. Every hour that passes, Roman soldiers dig deeper lines around the hill, and every one of those lines makes escape harder. One failed charge, one retreat behind stone and dirt. That is all it takes to turn an open war into a closed trap. Vercingetorix wanted a battle. What he got instead was a cage, slowly rising around him, one Roman shovel at a time. Now the digging begins, and it does not stop. Caesar gives the order, and thousands of Roman soldiers trade their swords for shovels. Their goal is huge: build a ring of trenches, walls and traps, stretching 11 miles around the base of Alesia. 11 miles, wrapping the entire hill like a rope pulled tight around a fist. This is not just a simple ditch. It is a machine built to kill anyone who tries to cross it. First come the trenches, dug deep into the earth, one after another. One of them is filled with water, diverted from nearby streams, turning solid ground into a drowning hazard for any warrior brave enough to charge across it. Behind the trenches rises a tall rampart, a wall of packed earth and timber, built high enough to stop a man from simply climbing over. Along the top of that wall, wooden towers rise at steady intervals, spaced out so that Roman soldiers can watch every stretch of the line, firing down on anyone who gets close. No matter where the Gauls attack, there are always Roman eyes watching and Roman weapons ready. But the real horror is hidden underground, out of sight, waiting. In the open ground in front of the trenches, Roman soldiers dig rows of small pits, each one holding a sharpened wooden stake, hidden under leaves and brush. Soldiers nickname them cruelly, almost like a dark joke, but there is nothing funny about what they do. A charging warrior, running at full speed, will not see the pit until his foot is already falling into it. Beyond the pits, more traps wait. Sharpened branches, angled outward like thorns, planted in the dirt to slow down any charge long before it reaches the main wall. Every single obstacle is designed to do one thing: break the speed and force of an attack before it ever touches Roman soldiers. Picture the scene from above. A hill, crowned with a fortress. Around its base, ring after ring of hidden traps, deep ditches, and towering walls, all built by thousands of hands, working day and night. This is not brute strength. This is patience, turned into a weapon. Vercingetorix and his warriors watch this happen from inside the fortress, powerless to stop it, hoping their walls will hold long enough for help to arrive. Because if this ring closes completely, the mightiest army in Gaul is a mightiest army trapped. The wall is not finished yet, but the shape of the trap is already clear. The wall is rising, but it is not finished, and that gap between almost done and done becomes a battlefield all its own. Vercingetorix knows this is his last real chance to stop the ring before it seals shut. So he sends riders and horsemen out to strike at the Roman work parties, hoping to slow the digging, break the rhythm, and buy time. For a moment, chaos breaks out along the unfinished line. Gallic cavalry crash into the soldiers building the trenches, swords flashing, horses kicking up dust and dirt. But Caesar is ready for this too. His own cavalry, strengthened by tough Germanic riders loyal to Rome, charges out to meet them. The clash is fierce, but the Romans hold their ground and push the Gauls back once again. It is a narrow win, nothing more, but it is enough. The work parties go back to digging. The wall keeps rising. Round one goes to Caesar, but the war is far from over. Because while that fight was happening, something more dangerous was slipping through the cracks. Word spreads that Vercingetorix is calling on all of Gaul for help, sending out a desperate message before the trap closes completely. And just before the ring seals shut, a group of his riders slips through a gap in the unfinished lines, riding hard into the countryside, carrying his call for rescue to every tribe that will listen. This is a real win for Vercingetorix. Even as Roman soldiers finish sealing the last stretch of wall behind them, the message is already out. Somewhere out there, tribes across Gaul are hearing the call and beginning to gather. Hope, thin but real, is now riding across the land on horseback. Caesar soon learns what has happened. Riders got out, help is coming, and not just a small band of reinforcements, but something much larger. A relief army being raised from tribes all across Gaul. Most commanders would panic at this news. Caesar does something almost unthinkable instead. He orders a second wall to be built, not facing inward this time, toward Alesia, but facing outward, toward the open land, toward whatever army is coming to save Vercingetorix. This second ring stretches roughly 13 miles around the first. a wall built not to trap the fortress, but to hold off a rescue. It is an enormous gamble. Caesar is now asking his soldiers to build and hold 2 rings at once, one facing in, one facing out, with Roman forces squeezed into the narrow strip of land between them. The momentum keeps swinging. A Roman win, a Gallic win, now an audacious Roman answer that raises the stakes higher than ever. 2 walls stand now, one inside the other, and somewhere beyond the horizon, 250,000 warriors are already marching toward them. Then the horizon fills with warriors. The relief army arrives at last, and it is bigger than anyone imagined. Tribe after tribe, all answering Vercingetorix's call, march together until the countryside around Alesia seems to overflow with fighters. Some accounts say they outnumber the Romans several times over. Whatever the true number, one thing is certain. Caesar's men are now standing between 2 enemies, and both of them are about to attack at the exact same time. From the outside, the massive relief army throws itself at the outer wall, the one facing away from the fortress. Thousands of warriors charge forward, screaming, striking at the ramparts, trying to tear a hole straight through Roman lines. At the very same moment, from the inside, Vercingetorix orders his own warriors to attack the inner wall, striking outward from Alesia itself. Ladders rise, warriors charge. Every ounce of strength saved up during the long siege is thrown at the Roman line, all at once. This is it. This is the exact nightmare the double wall was built to survive. Roman soldiers are now fighting in 2 directions at the same time, backs nearly touching, facing outward on one side and inward on the other. Every soldier holding the line understands the danger without needing to be told. If either wall breaks, even for a moment, the whole army could be swallowed whole, crushed between 2 forces at once. And for a while, it looks like it might actually happen. The outer wall bends under the weight of the attack. Warriors claw at the ramparts, some even breaking through gaps in the timber. Roman soldiers scramble to plug holes as fast as they open. But there is no rest, no room to breathe. Messengers run desperately along the lines, calling for reinforcements to move wherever the wall groans loudest. Inside, the pressure is just as brutal. Vercingetorix's warriors hammer at the inner wall with everything they have left, sensing that this may be their only real chance to break free. Caesar rides along the lines himself, watching, waiting, judging exactly where the danger is worst. His reserves are limited. He cannot be everywhere. Every decision now could decide whether this ends in victory or disaster. The 2 walls built weeks earlier, back when no one even knew a relief army was coming, are now the only thing standing between Caesar's legions and total collapse. Every log, every ditch, every hidden stake in the ground is being tested at once. Shouting fills the air from both directions. Weapons clash on both sides of the same thin strip of land. Somewhere in that noise and chaos, the fate of Gaul is about to be decided. But right now, in this exact moment, nobody knows which way it will break. But again and again, wood cracks. A section of the rampart splits open. Roman soldiers rush to the gap, shields locked together. Swords swing in tight, brutal arcs. Men fall on both sides. The line bends but does not break. Inside the fortress, Vercingetorix's men throw themselves at the inner wall with the same desperate force. Ladders slam against timber. Arrows hiss through the air. The noise is deafening. Screaming, clashing metal, cracking wood, all mixed together. Caesar watches the battle from a nearby hill, his eyes moving fast across the chaos, searching for the one spot where everything might collapse. He finds it, a weak point on the outer wall, close to breaking, close to letting the entire relief army pour through. Caesar does not wait. He gathers a group of reserve cavalry and rides straight into the fighting himself, his red cloak visible from far away, so his own soldiers can see him and know their commander is right there beside them. The charge slams into the attackers from behind, catching them completely off guard. Confusion spreads through the Gallic ranks. Warriors who moments ago believed victory was close now find enemies appearing where they least expect it. That single, visible charge changes everything. The relief army's momentum breaks. Fear spreads faster than any sword can strike. Warriors start pulling back. Retreat turns into panic. Panic turns into a full collapse. Thousands of Gauls scatter across the countryside, the massive rescue force falling apart in a matter of hours. Inside the walls, without help arriving, Vercingetorix's assault loses its strength too. His warriors pull back from the inner wall, exhausted and defeated in spirit before their bodies even stop fighting. The next day, the fortress gates open. Vercingetorix rides out alone, dressed for war, but carrying no intention of fighting. He circles Caesar on horseback once, then dismounts. In front of his own men and Caesar's soldiers, he lays down his weapons at Caesar's feet and kneels in surrender. It is a single image that marks the end of everything, the collapse of the Gallic coalition, wrapped up in one silent, humiliating moment. The consequences follow fast. The Gallic coalition, built from dozens of tribes, falls apart almost overnight. Many surviving warriors are captured, sold into slavery, or forced back under Roman control. Tribal leaders who once dreamed of an independent Gaul now negotiate new terms with Rome, terms written entirely on Roman conditions. Alesia is no longer a symbol of Gallic hope. It becomes the place where organized resistance against Rome effectively dies. 2 walls, one impossible bet, and a battle fought in both directions at once. It is over. Zoom out now, far above the hill, far above the 2 broken walls. Alesia is not just the end of one battle, it is the end of an entire idea. For years, Gaul dreamed of standing free from Rome. That dream dies here, on this hilltop, the moment Vercingetorix kneels in the dirt. After this, no Gallic army will ever again come close to challenging Roman power the way this one did. The tribes go quiet. Rome's border does not move back to the Alps. It pushes forward instead. But something else happens here too. Something Caesar himself may not even fully understand yet. He returns from Gaul with more than a victory. He returns with a massive, battle-hardened army that is fiercely loyal to him personally, not just to Rome. He returns with fame that spreads through every corner of the Roman world. He returns as a man who has done the impossible. Twice, trapped an army, then survived being trapped himself. That kind of power does not simply disappear once a war ends. It follows a man home. Years later, that same army, forged in the mud and blood of sieges like this one, will follow Caesar again. Not against Gauls this time, against Rome itself. The soldiers who once dug 2 walls around a hilltop fortress will soon cross a small river called the Rubicon and plunge the Roman world into civil war. So this siege does not simply close one story. It quietly opens another, far more dangerous one, inside the heart of Rome itself. And underneath all of it lies a truth that goes far beyond one battle, one general, or one hilltop in Gaul. An army that can be trapped can also become the trap. Strength and danger often live in the exact same structure. The same walls that could have destroyed Caesar's legions are the very walls that saved them. The same siege that could have broken Rome's grip on Gaul is the one that tightened it forever. History rarely moves in straight lines. It bends, traps, and reverses itself again and again, often at the hands of the very people who thought they had already won. If you want to see what Caesar does next with the army he built here, watch the story of the Rubicon.